we're live one more time. One more time. What's up, everyone? I am the High Priestess Phoenix, spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, lightworker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, yogi. Just noticed that was kind of a little twisted sisters, as we are. Yogi, guru, messenger of God, child of God, the Lilith reincarnated. What's another one? I just actually posted a video, but I wasn't going to let that marinate for too long. And Allie came right after. Fucking Allie. What is it with you guys? I don't know. Is it some past life stuff? Have you always been fighting for my love? I don't know. It's great. Love you all. Anyways, I had just posted a video about, I posted it in my community page, and then I posted, no, I didn't post shit in my community page. Posted a video about Russ and his album, whatever, right? And I was talking about, the journey. And again, the whole point of it, my excitement was it was confirmation that he's listening. What is he listening? I've been teaching for a long time. Again, I've taught this journey, taught him for a long time, everyone, out of this book. We're just recently jumping into this one that teaches you it. I started understanding myself through this one, but we've also read quite a bit of this. So these journeys, although, his last album, he gave credit to some person in some book called The Alchemist, which indeed he might have read that book before coming in contact with me. All glory to that butthole, but I called both of them out because they hadn't actually taken the journey. And the journey is really described in all of these books, and I'm going to kind of do a rundown about it. I gave you a visual because we're going to end on a Morgan card, because that's what I was guided to do. But I want to... Okay, I'm going to start right here. So I was going to start on the introduction, but I saw right here. If you are prepared. If you are prepared to have your world crash all around you, to not recognize who you are anymore as your old self dies to the new, you can re-emerge stronger and wiser into a whole new world. The Dark Goddess will show you the way, even though you will feel isolated and abandoned. She will never leave your side. Your soul will urge you to call upon her, for new life beckons and is waiting waiting to be acknowledged fully. It's time to stop playing at life and live it for real. Okay? It is in a quiet, dark spaces within that the truth can be heard, most certainly, and the light can shine most brightly. The Dark Goddess reveals the psychological aspects of your hidden self. The Dark Goddess archetypical characteristics which have been feared since she herself was birthed, and that's me, Lilith, in all my versions. There are many lessons to learn along the way as the Dark Goddess reveals the darker aspects of the self. She will teach you how not to be and reveal to you who you're not. Before or during the process, you could meet the same manifestation of the Dark Goddess over and over again until you get it, until you no longer react, go into a denial, believe the inner critic, or go on the defense. And that's where I am, where I can, all right, you got me. I know where I'm at. And that was that card earlier. It's like when you really can just stand up and be your ugly self. Okay, you're right. I am fully aware that I am right here. And this is me. Welcome to the journey into the dark night of the soul and beyond is how this starts. Okay, let's talk about the science of reincarnation. All right, now this is, again, these are all of these books come from the same teaching, which is over there, the Krishna teachings, as I like to say. Where shall I start? The spiritual basis of Krishna conscious. The professor of philosophy of the Eastern, this, that, and the other. Nope. Let's just start in the beginning. Maybe not. All right, we're going to page 9, which makes sense. You're like, you can't read it out of... Dude, we're way deep in it. Don't start with me. The Krishna conscious movement is trying to bring that spiritual existence to humanity at large. In our present material conscious, we are attached to sensual material concepts of life. but the conception can be removed at once by devotional service to Krishna or Krishna conscious. If we adopt the principles of devotional service, we can become transcendental and material conceptions of life, and be liberated from the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance, even in the mindset of various material garments. Everyone who is engaged in the material affairs can derive from the highest benefit of the pages of Back to Godhead and other literatures of the Krishna conscious movement. These literatures can help people serve the root of the indefatigable, the banyan tree material existence. These literatures are authorized to train us to renounce everything related to material conception of life and to relish spiritual nectar in every object. This stage is obtainable only by devotional service and nothing else. By rendering such service, one can at once get liberation, even during this present life. Most spiritual endeavors are tinged with the color of materialism, but the pure devotional service to Transcendental is all material passion. Those who desire to go back to the Godhead need to only adapt the principle of this Krishna conscious movement and simply aim their conscious at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and the personality of the Godhead, or Krishna, depending on how it is. And this is all, so that's that one. Let me go back to this one, the science of reincarnation. The question, if you want to gain real control over your destiny, you must understand reincarnation and how it works. It's that simple. No one wants to die. Most of us would like to live forever in a full vigor without wrinkles, gray hair, or arthritis. This is natural because the first and most basic principle of life is to enjoy. If we could only enjoy life forever. Man's eternal request for immortality is so fundamental that we find it nearly impossible to conceive of dying. Pulitzer Prize winner William Soroyer, the author of The Human Comedy, echoes the views of most people, and in the days just prior to death, he announced to the media, "Everybody has got to die, but I have always believed in the exception would be made in my case. Now what?" Okay, this is just the beginning of it, something about it. But this is all talking about Socrates and how he knew it, the modern age and how they view it, the Bhagavad Gita and how they wrote it, changing bodies, reincarnation in this life. Then we can go back to Buddha's teaching. It's the same thing. The teachings to enlightenment, and I can even bring out the Holy Bible, is to leave that of the material world. Let's see. I'm just going to pick up where we left off in Buddha's teachings. Number 3. Therefore, one should first have the wish of hearing the Buddha's teachings. If anyone should tell them that there would be necessary for them to go through the fire, we said this before. There is a satisfaction in hearing the Buddha's name. We said that before. Let's just go to the next page. Thus, the lay followers are to train their own minds first and not be disturbed by the actions of others. In this manner, they are to receive the Buddha's teachings and to put it into practice, not envying others, not being influenced by others, and not considering other ways. Those who do not believe in the Buddha's teachings have a narrow vision and consequently are disturbed minds. But those who believe in the Buddha's teaching believe that there is a great wisdom and a great compassion embracing everything. In that faith, they are undisturbed by trifles. Those who hear and receive Buddha's teachings know that their lives are transcendent and that their bodies are merely aggressions of suffering and the source of all evils, so they do not become attached to them. At this time, they do not neglect to take good care of their bodies, but not because they wish to enjoy the physical pleasures of the body, but because the body is temporarily necessary for the attainment of wisdom and for their mission of explaining the path to others. If they do not take good care of their bodies, they cannot live long. If they do not live long, they cannot practice and teach personally and transmit it to others. If a man wishes to cross a river, he is very carefully on his raft. If he has a long journey to make, he takes good care of his horse. So if a man seeks to attain enlightenment, he must take good care of his body. The disciples of Buddha must wear clothing to protect the body from extremes of heat and cold, and to cover its private parts, and should not wear it for decoration. They must eat food to nourish the body so that they may hear and receive and explain teachings, but they should not eat for mere enjoyment. They must live in the house of enlightenment to be protected from the thieves of worldly passions. That's it, the people that want all the things of this world, and from the storms of evil teachings, and that's just influence. And they should use the house for its real purpose and not for display or concealment of selfish practices. And that's it. Your house is just a display, or you know what. Thus, one should value things and use them solely in their relationship to enlightenment and the teachings. He should not possess them or become attached to them for selfish reasons, but only as they serve a useful purpose in carrying the teachings to others. And that's why more than half of my trunk is nothing but spiritual stuff. That's all that mattered. When they wiped out my house, I was crying. All I needed was my spiritual stuff. That's all that really mattered to me, these things. Are they replaceable? Yeah, totally. I tell you to get them too. But again, this is my, God has made this my life's work. So these are important things. Is there power into them? Just the memories. They had power before I got them, but I infuse it with more power and with the understanding of it. There's no power in the Bible unless you understand the power that's in the Bible. And the same with this book. An ideal son gain a throne. What page were we? Oh, the ones with whom a man should not associate are those who are greedy, clever talkers, flatterers, and wasters. Yeah, that's you guys. You know you are. The clever talkers, that would be my rappers. They're absolutely greedy, flattering, but wasters, all-consuming. The ones with whom he should associate are those who are helpful, those who are wise and who have sympathetic hearts. A true friend is one whom a man may safely associate, will always stick closely to the right way, will worry secretly about his friend's welfare, will console him in misfortune, will offer him a helping hand when he needs it, and will keep his secrets and will always give him good advice. It is very difficult to find a friend like this, and therefore one should try very hard to be a friend like this. As the sun warms the fruit's earth, so a good friend shines in society because of his good deeds. It would be impossible for a son to repay his parents for all their gracious kindness, even if he could carry his father on his right shoulder and his mother on his left for 100 long years, and even if he could bathe their bodies of the parents in sweet-smelling ointments for 100 years. Serve as an ideal son, gain the throne for them, and give them all the luxuries of the world. Still, he would not be able to repay this sufficiently for the great indebtedness of gratitude he owes them. But if he leads his parents to Buddha and explains the Buddha teaching to them and persuades them to give up the wrong course and to follow the right one, leading them to give up all greed and enjoy the practice of offerings, then he will be more than repaying them. That's you, Russ. It's like you could never repay him. You just keep giving him, and that's all of you. That's fucking Lewis. It's like, why don't you teach them? Buddha's blessings abides in the home where parents are held in respect and esteem. I'm not going to get into your family issues. We're totally leaving this right now. I'm not getting into any of that. Let's talk a little bit more about the dark night of the soul. Is the dark goddess calling you? The crone is the mistress of magic and commanding sorcerer who summons up power from all that she is. She knows exactly who she is and can call upon any and all her strengths, which resides in the shadows and are used as and when necessary. When you work with the shadow side, you will be able to determine which situation calls for you to use your darker traits and how to use them. But first, the dark goddess will help you to know which powers you should nurture and which lower emotions and agitations you should be dissolved. Eventually, in your day-to-day life, you'll be able to consciously draw from the positive aspects of the shadow traits as your inner strength. For example, when somebody tries to harm you with strength and aggression and anger can summon to overcome the enemy, it can serve as a positive force, motivating you to stand up for yourself while protecting your personal boundaries. However, first you need to learn how to wisely draw from each emotion and how to use that emotion carefully and in honor to the dark goddess and her energy. that powers through you. All right, I want to point out we are going into Ostara, right? So it's the maiden and it's the matured, from the dark to the light. We explore signs of growth and discernment. I just want to point that out. The Celtic year starts with the festival of Imbolc. We just had Imbolc, when we connect with the maiden aspect of the goddess as she offers new life and fresh beginnings. For in agriculture, this is when seeds are planted and we start to see them, the flowers start to blossom. Vegetation continues to grow through the festival of Ostara, that's on the 20th, and up to the celebration of Beltane or May Day, that's May 1st. When we connect with the mother aspect of the goddess and it peaks in the summer solstice and goes on to produce the first harvest at Lugnasa, also known as Lammas, we give thanks to the autumn equinox when the harvest is cut down. From the most, nature starts to decay, leading us to Samhain, when nature turns inwards and dies down into the winter months. This is when the crone aspect of the goddess rules. The winter solstice, 21st or 22nd to December, into the first glimmer of hope of sun, that is the weakness starts, and that's back to Imbolc. So that's where we're going through right now. Know the phases of it, and then you start to, what also helps is knowing which goddesses are going to be with you during these phases. That's extremely important. So if we're messing with our maidens, you know, there's specific, what's a maiden goddess? It's just, at the end of the day, it's your own feelings with a name and a story. So, you know what I mean? When you're going into winter and fall, you must understand that you're letting things die. As the world outside of you is dying, you're letting things go too. But that's just part of the seasons, bro. That's what you don't understand. You have the seasons, and then you have the moon, then you have the days, and then you have your own, you know what I mean, the chart of, you know, the 12 houses, which is us going through the signs. And then you have the planetary movement on top of it. When you put it all together, you could literally paint out what the day will look like. Each of them have a piece to the puzzle. And it's called the Book of Life. Each of them got a page to this book. And they all were given a page. And they put all the pages together, and you can read the whole Book of Life. And it's been written before we got here. It's very much, and that's what I do. As you know, I've got to live my life, but as I'm living it, I'm seeing it. So, for example, you know, I started my dark night of the soul journey 2 years ago yesterday, which now we know that St. Patrick's Day, go fucking figure, St. Patrick's Day is the start of the dark night of the soul for many. You start to see when their levels are actually started. We can actually put a calendar on this bitch, bro. Give me time. I'm only in my 3rd year, but I'm catching all the synchronicities where I have us down. I'm getting it down. I'm going to give you this whole book, bro. We're writing the Book of Life. The Book of Shadows. I'm telling you, I'm writing the book on twin flames. You know what I mean? No more not knowing. All right. So that was that, and that's pretty much how this goes. So we'll start with how this starts is there's a lot of preparation to understanding it. So right away they start teaching you, you know, the wheel. That's what I was just talking about. Invocations into letting them in. Creating an altar to the dark goddess. I already had an altar before I knew it. I didn't know what I was doing. Pentagrams, altar cloths, elements. I don't always put down an altar cloth. Not always. Candles, teaches you how to start building, you know what I mean, a safe spot. Again, why do I have certain things? Certain things are offering to certain goddesses during certain time. If you haven't realized, we're in all of our divine feminine, so all the divine feminines that I do associate with are here at the altar. Offerings, you know what I mean, there's different stones at the altar. We're going through different seasons. That's it. But we'll always have specific things like, you know, the Lumerian seeds and stuff like that. It teaches you journal work, peace through protection. It teaches you how to embrace yourself for it. Protection spells, casting a circle, the power of salt. Staying grounded is always, as soon as you start getting spiritual, dude, you need to come back down. It's going to get scary real quick, right? Starts teaching you this, getting ready for it. And the first one he teaches you is Gaia. You got to learn about Mother Earth and her crazy ways. And that goes back to our seasons. We're in a scary season as far as Mother Earth's season. She's waking up. What's your mother like when she wakes up? I'm not very cool when I wake up. Like, it depends. If I wake up on my own and there's no one there and I can do it in peace, it's beautiful. But if I wake up and everything, if I get shoved into the waking and everybody's already awake, I don't enjoy the waking process. So in the sense of, that's what is so dangerous about spring, is she's waking up. She's waking up. What is she waking up? All of her powers, everything. The whole ground is waking up. It's growing. The weather outside is growing. Everything. She's awake. Mother Earth is awake. She's come. The wind's going to blow. The sun's going to, the birds are going to chirp. The freaking, everything's going to, everything at once. It's awaking. Spring, summer, autumn, and winter, all in the beginning. Earth Day is April 22nd. All trees, but particularly the ash. She's part of the new, the full, and the dark moon. Period, smoky quartz, ambers, agonite, agate, black tourmaline. You need to get you a tourmaline or I have obsidian to ground your ass. Demeter, Terra, Pachamama, soil, fruit, grains, animals, trees, wood plants. This is where it really starts. The initiation. This is where it starts in the book. But there's lots of startings to it, because I can take you over to my archangels and we can start that way with Sariel and the archangels. I can take you through pretty much all of my books and they take you through it. Right now we just got these a couple days ago and this is taking you through it. We're going to take it through these ones, right? Because anytime you're with the goddess, she's taking you into the darkness. I don't care. Other books by Stephanie. I reached out to Stephanie. She saw it. I don't know. She didn't say shit. I don't expect them to say anything, dude. What are they going to say to me? They can't. Because what if they're wrong? Some are better off not saying anything. Let's see what she says. Around you is a comfortable darkness. Feel your body relaxing, your muscles loosen, and your mind opening to the message of the Morgan has for you. All right, that's a little bit too deep. See, I don't like all this where they're trying to paint a picture for you. She's painting a huge picture. There's a lot of cause in this a lot of cause. Fine. See, and that's it too. I kind of, in all reality, I offend them and their shit. Just going to number 2. All right, so we had bad, and this is Matcha. Keyword, strategy, force, gathering allies. Matcha rides in her chariot, sword raised, a battle cry on her lips. Her warriors gather behind her, screaming their own battle cries, ready to face any foe. Above her, a host of ravens fly, blotting out of the sky. While other aspects of the Morgan can represent frenzy, Matcha is all about strategy. When she is unjustly denied her inheritance right to rule as queen, she takes the throne by force and cunning. She thinks before she acts. She gathers her allies and troops. She does not head into battle without a plan. Instead, she looks at the chessboard and finds a way to win, even when the odds aren't in her favor. On her up... Okay, I'm seeing this whole thing about what happened today. Okay, let me explain. So I went in there, you know what I mean? Guns raising. What am I talking about? So I went for my orientation. First and most important question is, how long is the duration? She says, well, we always say it's 30 days, but that's only if you're literally, breaking the rules or just not abiding by them or not making any efforts. Say, minimum 60 is what we do. But if you're doing everything right, then that's right. And she's like, and naturally employment is going to secure you a longer stay. You're going to meet with a caseworker and they can go through it. And if they have you on a housing plan, then obviously we'll keep you until your housing plan comes out. She's like, she goes through it. She's like, you have an eviction. How much do you owe? I was like, I don't know. She's like, well, I do know that each person has an allowance, for relief. And I didn't even think about that. I was like, damn, that would be great. Because that wouldn't limit my housing options going forward. And as far as what are the housing options, she's like, say, for example, you got a voucher. She pointed that out. I was like, oh, that's great. Now, prior to going into this, I posted it on my Instagram, or posted it on my community page. Prior to going into this, I was blow drying my hair, and I got this download of the perfect job would just be a simple housekeeping position. It'd be perfect for me, and they're available everywhere. In the sense of what I like to do, the freedoms I'm looking for, and the low responsibility so that I continue to work on my career while I still have a job. All of that came into place. So I was like guns raising. Then I go in, and she's like, she talks about, the protocol. And then after that, I decided slow down. And that's what I said. Well, based on what you said, it seems like it would be better for me to hold my horses until I actually speak with the caseworker, and then I'll get the job once we put it on an actual plan. She said that would make more sense. Rather than, tying up my time and energy and not having a plan, let's build a plan and an action plan, and let me show you how I take action towards this plan. Right? As far as the school guy, I got him right away. He came in. He said, it's very simple. We're going to sit down tomorrow. We'll fill out 2 major important papers. Then it's the hurry up and wait. He said, I won't let it go past, there is a waiting game, but that's where we come in and we start pushing it. And so we won't push it, but it'll, we'll wait till the end of the week and then we'll start pushing it, but let's get it started by tomorrow. So again, I've been through that waiting game where it's not fun, but they set it up right away with the hop skip rides. They get them into school, get them going, all of that stuff. So everything's available, but at the same time, it was like, let's make the plan, right? Instead of just jumping in right away. Instead of, let me leave this position and go get me a job and go do all of these things. Let's take it slow, strategically. Let's put it on it. Let's make an actual plan instead of me just, full forcing it. Is what happened today. And it felt good. And that's what happened. All right, going into this. On her upraised sword reads, Matcha Queen of the Tribes in Ogam. Maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe. Her sword is raised for all just causes and for those who are disenfranchised. Her chariot horse pulls the heads in opposite directions, yet she brings them to focus and guides them forward as she guides her warriors. Divination meaning. Matcha is the sovereign and battle queen challenged. Ooh. She pushes and prods us not only to face our demons with our mighty battle cry, but also to attack the problem at hand with skill and strategy, when we might want to jump into the fight without a plan. She forces us to think our problems through. What is the outcome we most wish to have? How could we best achieve our goals? What allies and resources do you have that you can utilize? And that's what I said too, is like, she said that. She's like, well, your case manager is very good at helping you with any kind of resources as far as, employment and stuff like that. So who knows? But I don't know what I'm working with yet to start working. You know what I mean? Give me a minute to figure this all out and shit. And that's what it kind of was, is let's build a strategy and let's see where we want to go with this. Let's see. Matcha reminds us that we are not alone. We need to reach out to others for aid to win our battles. Matcha also reminds us to fight against injustice when we see it and to defend ourselves against adversity with integrity and noble courage. She calls for determination, the grit to stand firm in your convictions. All right, a spell for courage. In this spell, you will be changing a piece of jewelry you will be charging a piece of jewelry with Matcha's energy. Ideally, this should be something that you can wear when you're facing a difficult situation or when you feel Matcha's strength and when you need to feel Matcha's strength and courage to face a challenge life presents with you. You will need the Matcha card, a piece of jewelry, and an offering to Matcha. Cleanse the piece of jewelry in whatever way you wish. This could be with some clean water and incense smoke. When you are ready, place the Matcha card in front of you while holding the jewelry in your hand. Say her little invocation. While just holding the jewelry, look at the card. See it glowing and becoming alive, becoming a doorway. When you are ready, see yourself stepping through. Present Matcha with the piece of jewelry. See her holding it in her hand and infusing it with strength and courage. Spend a few moments seeing if there is any message she wished to give to you. Then step back through the doorway into your body. Thank Matcha and leave an offering you find appropriate. Wear your charged jewelry whenever you need to draw on Matcha's energy. This is interesting. Again, I don't usually read guided meditations to where you can do visualizations, but they're in a lot of my books. And as I did this, the whole thing I was thinking was, oh my God, don't make me do it. They're all under here. You know, I just have a lot of them, and it takes a minute. But if we're going to be talking about it, let me talk about... Give me a second. That's Kelly, that's White, that's not any of those. Come on, Lord. What's fucking wrong with me? Let me do it, then help me do it. Thank you. Alright, I'm going to show you something here. I don't do these with you. We went to salvation. So, I'm just going to start here because this is where we turned. This is what I told you too. This is another journey. Let's start the journey, right? And this will teach you the same great, wonderful things. Again, it's not witchcraft, but it'll teach you about your chakras. It'll teach you healing qualities, crystals associated. It'll teach you the sigils, the star constellations, and the damn oils. All right? It teaches you about, the angel and where the angel comes from. And it starts with the dark night of the soul. Okay? Now, how to meet them. Now, each and every one of these is how to meet them. And I stopped doing these with you guys. So before I did this, I wanted to say this was intense because this is a visualization, and this is how you capture a conversation, or you invoke an entity, or you step into an energy. That's next level, and I think that, I don't know what we missed in the first 5 pages, but that's very next level because that's how it is. When are you ready to go sit down and have a talk with Jesus Christ? I used to see him on a hill, on top of a hillside, a grassy meadow. And I would come up to him, and I would lay my head on his, he would be sitting there on a rock on a grassy meadow. This was my visualization prior to spirituality. And I would put my head on his leg and cry. That was my visualization of talking to Christ for long periods of time. Later, after my spiritual awakening, I realized that meadow was actually a meadow on the top of Mother Cabrini's shrine. I realized that was the visual I had in my head. How could that be? I don't know. There's a picture of my dad, and it's in my pictures. I couldn't believe it. He took me there when I was like 4 or 5. Maybe I always saw him there. That's just a place. But anyways, there's a place where you visualize them, where you see them in your mind's eye. Like Pac said. Pac was the only one that saw heaven, bro. He saw it in his mind's eye, and he described what he saw in his mind's eye. So a lot of these books give these visualizations. That's what they're called, guided meditations with visualizations. I want you to close your eyes. All right, so I'm going to start with this one. Since that you're entering into the dark night of the soul. If you're able to, lower yourself into yoga child pose and rest your forehead against the floor on the ground. Close your eyes. With humility in your heart, invite Sariel to meet you in the darkness of surrender. Feel into the space of your heart where your pain resides, and imagine you're walking into a great cave with 0 illumination. Feel the blackness of this cave envelop you like a warm cloak, and imagine Sariel as a huge protective presence, enfolding you with his inky velvet wings. Let deep comfort meet you here as you fall into the solace within your depths. Rest in the warm black light of Sariel for as long as you need, receiving all you require to speak to him of all you've been through. Pour out your woes. And then thank Sariel and imagine you are emerging from the cave out into daylight. Gently roll on your side and hug yourself in a fetal position. And there's a lot of those. And that's what it is. If you're listening, a lot of this is in Russ's words. He spoke he eloquently about what the journey is. But I want to see you take it. You put it into words quite lovely, my dear. And that's what I have a hard time after all of this. It's like, how do you put it into words? That's what's hard. I can't tell you what it really is. I can tell you all what it feels like. But now we're able to start to put it into words. And the more we can put it into words and normalize those words, the more people will accept it. These are just, it's been around forever. We're in Western civilization and we're barely catching on. But these are ancient teachings that have been caught through cultures and passed down, and unfortunately these are why people are a little bit more higher evolved than us over here. Because we're obviously working through materialism on our side. We don't have a sense of, spirituality or egotism, as they call it. Right? So this is, going back to it, is there's going to be a lot of times when you're in that dark night of the soul, which is this dark cave. You can't see anything in there but your feelings, but you know that you're not in there alone. And you literally are going to crawl over in a fetal position and hold yourself and cry. I do that still. Just fall over and cry. Open your eyes and slowly sit up, allowing yourself to stretch. Let your movements be gentle for the rest of the day. Keep Serial's cloak around you for extra security. And then there's another one. Close your eyes and invite Serial to send his powerful electric black lightning into any pain that has arisen due to a sudden, shocking revelation in your life. Those are ego deaths. They're shocking. It's a revelation. It's just a higher perception of something in your life that you never saw before, and it hurts to see it this way. There's a couple of them that really hurt me. And I know you can't fully understand what this did to me. But when Lewis Hamilton did a video with Camila Cabello, that shocked me to my core, and I could never look at him the same again. Everything I ever thought Lewis was wiped away in one video. Did I watch the video? No. It was just an advertisement for it. And I was so shocked, and I remember running to Marshall like, what the fuck was I thinking? I saw you. I saw you. I saw you. This is how I saw you. This is not who you are. It killed me. I thought Lewis was so many wonderful things until I saw that side of him. Now, what you don't understand is Lewis is still all those wonderful things that I saw. But I had to see him in this view for, you know what I mean? I couldn't deny this side that I saw him as. And this side was more powerful than all the other sides. And as I say that with tears running down my eye, you don't understand what that means. To see something, and then all of a sudden, you can never see it again the same. What was it? A loss of his power, his dignity, his pride, everything I thought he was. It happened with Marshall too. One day, I was listening to the rap god, and I really heard it. I heard him imitating every rapper I'd ever listened to my whole life. And after that, I heard it in every one of his songs. This isn't you, this is someone else. You're being someone else. You're being someone else. You're using other people's flows. This isn't your flow. This isn't your flow. Abracadabra isn't his flow. He bought fucking both songs that, you know what I mean, that he did with Rihanna. They're not his cadence. He studies them. He practices other rappers, bro. And all he does is use his own words to be better than them. You say he can make himself sound like the era that we're in, but it's because he's copycatting. I couldn't believe it. It happens, bro. Royce, I cried that weekend when I realized that Royce wasn't nothing but a mere man. I couldn't believe it. I'd always seen you as this, you know what I mean? This weapon of God. And now you're just a washed up black man. You're nothing more than the skin you wear. These things hurt, bro. You know what I mean? You'll, like, look at your fucking boyfriend and be like, what the fuck am I... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What the fuck? Oh, my God, bro. Oh, my God. And you're so ashamed. It just happened. You went from love to shame so fast. You just woke up so fast. You're like, oh, my God, bro. Who knows? And you realize the whole fucking world knows. You're the idiot that didn't know. You're the idiot. Nobody. You're like, oh, my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy. Oh my God. Did you oh my God. Oh my God. I can never look at you the same. Oh my God. And it happens with everybody and everything, bro. You wake up and it's fucking painful because you can't deny what you just saw, bro. And you have to accept it. And you have to make it your new reality. You would say these are like these traumatizing moments, but they just keep happening. You never even, like, what? What? Let's talk about you, Tree. I'm sitting in the studio. And I'm talking about Bobby. How excited I am that one day we're going to come together. The fuck were you thinking? Let me explain. I have a lot of those moments. Let me explain. And I look up. And I can see it in his eyes. He's like in love with me. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? No. You didn't just see what you think you saw, bitch. No, you didn't see that. No. And then it keeps replaying it. No, you saw that. Now look at all these other times that you didn't see it. Oh, no. You start seeing all this shit you didn't see, bro. How it was always there in front of you, but you were blind. You were blind. It hurts your fucking ego so bad, bro. Like, why didn't I see this? You were not ready. And when you see it, you're still not fucking ready. Your reality breaks, bro. You thought you knew something, and then all of a sudden you see something, and your whole fucking reality breaks, bro. It happens all the time. Especially on a Friday. It's made to happen on a Friday. It's Friday then. Your reality is going to break, and you're going to have to go into your feelings of why the fuck you thought this way. It's crazy. Anyways, going back to this card, it had a really intense guided meditation where you could literally visualize this bitch and go ask her for her power. And then if you keep your belief in that power, then you carry the power. How much do you know about matcha? Do you really want to go opening a door in your consciousness to this goddess just because I told you to? No, that's what I mean. You've got to be fucking careful. I am telling you right now, as the Morgan who is just rediscovering her parts, I couldn't tell you about this part of me that you're about to go ask for. I don't think you should be asking for any part of me until you know what part you're asking for. Anybody that prays to the goddess should be very careful because you don't know what you're getting. And so with this guided visualization of you, go visualize yourself knocking on a door, her on the other side, and giving her your power. That could get that belief inside of your head can get warped, dude, and you might have took some kind of other power. So don't do this yet. For beginners, don't do this. Stay with the angels. We can visualize going in with the angels. There's great visualizations into here. We do a lot of them with our Callies, close your eyes, sense, feel, those kind of things. But this one, no. I'm telling you right now, no. My job is to protect you, and even from myself. This is a side of myself that I haven't discovered, and if I haven't discovered it yet, I don't feel like you should. I know a lot about myself, but I'm just reawakening to the Morgan, which was my last self before I became this. I'm not fully sure of what I was my last self, but leading up to that self, and I think you should be very careful. If you were going to my Kali, I would tell you the same thing. If you were praying to Lilith, if you're praying to Hecate, no, I wouldn't, because I understand myself in those areas. This part of myself I don't know. The part of my I don't know my Morgan, and the Morgan is made up of many parts. And I'm exploring these parts with you, but I don't suggest you going and finding this spirit on your own. Let me discover the spirit for us before we go, Granted, this woman, and I'm going to let you just have a look at her for yourself. Don't judge a book by its cover, but this woman has been practicing, subconscious talking to me and, the all different parts of me for the last 20 years. Her hobbies include making fucking art out of dead some shit and reptiles and weird shit. In her spare time, she creates art of skulls and other dead things. Okay, this is a woman that spends a lot of time in the subconscious, in the dark parts of it. Okay, I just want to point out this goofy conversation that I saw happening here. My job is to, this is the first of its kind, and I have to discover it, but I also have to discover the bullshit while we're going through it. And, there's a lot of this, caw, the crow is flying ahead. She's like doing, she's really into some, she's in a place. I'm not going to say her imagination, but she's there, and she's trying to get you there with these cards, and I'm not sure you're ready to go there with her. We use different stones. Archangel Michael. You know what I mean? The Kali. We use different stones and stuff like that are already infused with energy. We don't go asking for your blessing. We don't ask you to, you know what I mean? No. We'll usually put our dark energy into a piece of, element, and put element into the ground and let God take care of it for us. But the last thing we want to do is go invoking, and that's even, I'm telling you, this is a part of myself that I don't fully understand, and I don't think you should be dealing with any parts of the dark goddess that you don't fully understand. Bottom line, I don't want something bad to happen to you guys. It can happen. This isn't just, the conscious, the subconscious, the oneness is one with all things of the light and the dark. This is not a very light side of me. And you heard it, a very strategic side that you're playing with. Knowing me as the vindictive, strategic bitch that I am, do you really want to knock on my door and think that I'm going to give you something freely just for your protection? I don't think so. Be careful. I know myself too well. As Baba Yaga and as all the goddesses, no, there's a price to pay when playing with me. I assure you that. So as far as that, I read it to you, but I don't encourage you to do these type of, that's being dangerous. I never started playing with witchcraft until I was already awoken in my dark goddess and was the witch, that designed this craft. And I always guide you away from those that are practicing in their own funky ways, because I don't want you to get hurt trying something that they learned, from their ancestors that have been cursing people since the beginning of fucking time. You do somebody else's practice, you're catching somebody else's karma. In essence, it's like, I do a lot of these with you. I'll show you. Let me pull out some of my guidebooks here. And I teach you a lot of crazy shit. But like even my Kalis, we read LILITH. We have an invocation. And that's where it is. In the we do go into these places with me. I was going to read you one of these. And at the end of them, we have a guided, we do prayers and invocations and then affirmations that come into it. This one is the white light. They all have them to a certain degree, you know what I mean? Settle in a comfortable position, consciously connecting with your breath as it flows. I teach you some safe guided meditations, but we don't know that. And that's what I mean is you got to have a sense of understanding that not everything, even me with all protection, I am fine, but I'm telling you not to go into be careful of where you go into. Because what the fuck happened to Britney Spears, bro? She opened a door to something that is, she can't close. And until I get to her, she's going to be like that. And that's what it is. It's like, don't go knocking on doors and asking spirits, any spirits, for any gifts. Trust me. Trust me on that. As the goddess of hell, I'm telling you, you don't do that. And even myself, I don't fucking pray to God for shit. I don't go looking for fucking trouble. When we're talking about knocking on doors, bro, they're going to give you, I want to show you this. There's a bunch of them. That with their assistance, he can locate lost children and treasures. They have the ability. That's why people pray to him. You know what I mean? Who is this? Oh, gosh. There's lots of them that, they'll offer you services, but there's a price to pay. They're not just... But that's it. I told you. When we read her book earlier, when we read about it, how she said, we were reading out of her books, how she'll have somebody watch over her when she does this shit. Because you're not practicing carefully. And how are they supposed to get you out? And how many times has a friend had to get you out of a spiritual realm that you got yourself too deep into because you weren't fucking, you know what I mean? What were you doing? Mushrooms and you went in too deep and you didn't know what you was doing? If she always has someone there, that means she always needs to make sure that she's safe. And she's always doing some shit that might be unsafe. Pushing the limits of magic is dangerous. Because all magic is formed from feelings. And if you don't have stable feelings, which is the basis of all of this, is being grounded and healed, then you can get caught up in some really fucked up shit. I've never had to really go this deep with anybody. I mean, I know there's those that, I take on covens and stuff. There's those that I don't tell them shit. But as far as, having new people on my page and we're talking about invocating, spirits that I myself are unavailable, are just awakening within myself and haven't fully harnessed. No, don't do that yet. Let me see what it tears apart inside of me before you're, free with it. Keep that in mind. This is a hard lesson to learn. Something we must learn along the journey is like, when somebody starts invoking something, you might want to step out of the room. Do they fully know what they're invoking? And that's it. Are you ready to step in the room of a fucking exorcism? We're dealing in spirit, guys. That's what we're talking about all the time. And when you awaken your spirit, you're going to realize that, all the other spirits that are around you. And that's that oneness. And not all of the spirit, all of the spirit is pretty funky. It's funky. In the sense of energy, there's a lot of negative fucking energy. Is there a lot of bad spirits or bad spirit upon people, places, and things? It has a bad energy, it has a bad aura. Is it a particular individual spirit, or is it there's bad spirits? People are in bad spirits in general. Does that make sense? They're in a bad aura. They're in a negative vibration. They're in negative, you guys like to use words as karmic and shit. There's a lot of dark energy or dark spirits. And that's why we take the dark night of the soul into our own demons so that we're not afflicted by other people's demons. All manipulation, all dark magic manipulation is consistent to affecting your emotions. Knowing your weaknesses. If I know what your shadows are, then I know where to hit you. Your shadows are your weaknesses unless you become them like me. So if you suffer from neglect, all I have to do to control you is keep pushing that button. And I can keep you in submission. If I keep you in the fear that you'll lose me, then I have full control of you forever. Because I know you're fearful of losing people. So if I keep dangling that in front of you, I have control over you. Manipulation and magic go run hand in hand. Psychology, that's what I try to teach you. The actual awakening, the spirituality is the same as psychology. There's, you pass the conscious level into the unconscious. There's this thin line of psychosis that comes into play. It's like you're borderline psychosis. You're in the logical reality of the 3D, but you're entering the, you know what I mean, the subconscious reality of higher dimensions. But bringing it back into your 3D, coming back into your mind, and that's the grounding, is the difficult part. That's why I tell you, I can be in there all the time. Bringing it all back is what I do, is bring back all of this 5D, 4D, 7D, 8D information that doesn't have form yet, and put it into words, descriptions using, you know what I mean, movies and music and shit like that, this information and stuff. Now, going back to it, it's like, you know, all dark magic, all darkness, everything that's used against you is used by your fear. The government controls you with your fear, the laws, the restrictions, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your parents, all of it is fear-based. You know what I mean? I can whisper something in your ear that'll keep you from doing something because you're just out of fear. You won't go near it. It's manipulation. Alright? That's it. How's dark magic done? All I have to do is prey on your fears. And you'll stay stuck. You'll stay stagnant. I can ruin a relationship. I can take your job. I can ruin everything in your life based on your fears. I can play off of I can mind game you to the extreme. And realistically, I don't actually have to be physically there, because as a good witch, I can mess with the elemental structures around you that play with your mind. I can make you think you're going crazy by fucking with the energy around you. I am strong enough that I could literally sit in your kitchen with you from here and start fucking with your fucking cabinets and shit. I can move energy in such a grotesque way if I wanted to. But others, they can send energy at you. Thoughts. That's what it is. A lot of psychic attacks are, I'm going to put this thought in their head so that it eats them up and they can't think about anything else. You can do it subconsciously. You can literally do it on the internet. I can put a subconscious, a subliminal fuck the shit out of you and hurt you and send you into the deepest dark pits of your fucking subconscious. Right, Russ? You know how to do that, Russ? Oh, this bothers her. Watch. If I do this, this is going to really hurt her. She's going to be all fucked up off of this. Watch this. This is going to be great. Until you learn how to overcome these things where they don't fuck with your subconscious. And then people taking shots at you are just looking stupid. You're not so easily triggered. You're not so powerless to bullshit. But yeah, that's what it is. And you gotta be careful with that. This is all part of the real world, dude. Before I leave, I'm gonna leave on this note. Wait a second. No, not that one. Let's talk about some protection magic real quick. Where were we? Sigils. Confusion powder. See what I mean? A confusion doll. Another method for sending through the feet artificial elements in counter magic. Let me see. I don't know. I don't teach you too much. Graveyard binding. There's a lot in here. Mirror cage, double action, reversal candles, reversal spells, identifying your attacker. You don't really want to know, do you? It's just going to want you to seek it. Your natural instinct will be to seek justice and revenge. Let me see what I can teach you in here. Artificial spirits. That's what we're talking about. Part of the use of spirits and intelligence that are attracted to witch through conjuration and offering. There are also methods for creating artificial spirits. An artificial spirit is made up from energy that is shaped and programmed by the witch. Much like an artificial intelligent computer system, they are created for long and short-term use and are known by many names. In traditional European craft, an artificial is sometimes known as a fetch or a budwill. In ceremonial magic, they are often called what? Egregious. And when constructed from one or more of the four elements, artificial elements. What I tell you. One of the most famous examples of a magician creating a spirit for defense is the golem. In the year 1580, the Kabbalist named Rabbi Lebo, or Leb, I don't know, is rumored to have created an artificial spirit that inhabited and animated a physical form called golem. The Catholic priest named Tadushis, or something, was Tadish, I don't know, was planning to accuse the Jews of Prague of ritual murder, which would start a backlash against the Jewish community and would result in many deaths. Rabbi Lebu heard about it, and to avert the danger, directed a dream question to heaven to help him save his people. He received his answer in the Hebrew code, Ada bra golem vedvuk hakomer vid, I don't know, it just keeps going on. The literal meaning of this is make a golem out of clay and you will destroy the entire anti-Semitic community. Through this geometric interpretation of the phrase, the rabbi was able to decipher the actual formula for doing just that. The golem given life by writing one of the names of God, Emith, on its head. Stories vary about how the golem accomplished his task. Some say it went berserk and had to be destroyed. Some say that it only killed the priest and then put to rest. The golem was deactivated by wiping off the E from the name on its forehead and changing it from Emith to Meth, which means dead in Hebrew. The golem's body was sealed in a secret passage in the synagogue where it is said to remain till this day. Some believe the story that it was inspired for the Mary Shelley classic Frankenstein. Another famous story involving the creation of artificial spirit comes through the Alexandra David Neal, the French explorer and author who penetrated Tibet in the 1920s, traveled the country disguised as a beggar and a lama. In her book, Magic and Mystery in Tibet, she describes her creation of an artificial spirit called a tulpa, which roughly translate the mind emancipation. In Tibetan. In her story, she seals herself off in a cave and concentrates on creating a short, good-natured monk. After a few weeks, she feels that her monk is sufficiently manifested, and she leaves the cave. The Tulpa monk follows her on her travels and is even seen by other members of her traveling party from time to time. The problem arises when the monk begins changing out of her control. His appearance shifts from being portly and good-natured to being gaunt and sinister. Realizing her creation had gotten away from her, she decides to dismantle the monk, but accomplishes this only at a great effort over the course of several months. There's even more cases where an artificial spirit is created as one of the chefs of the old magic order. All right. Before I get into this is another example. I'm going to stop there. These people are guided to build something, and it becomes a spirit that rides with them, that is part of them. This is another perfect fucking example. So when we're talking about these guided meditations, I want you to close your eyes and visualize talking to this spirit. Maybe no. Maybe no. Maybe no. Stay with the light, spirits, bro. Stay with your angels. Stay with Jesus. Stay in the light. You're going to meet your own dark spirits. And those are the only ones you need to meet, because those are your version of these dark spirits. You don't need to meet these dark spirits until your dark spirit is ready for it. I'm not saying that you won't meet Matcha. But I'm barely meeting Matcha, and I'm 2 years in, and I have already put in how much of my life before I could ever come anywhere near my Morgan. There's levels to this shit, people. You can't just go into the pits of hell. And Dante had to, you know what I mean? Dante had Virgil to take him in layer by layer. I had Pac and Kobe taking me in layer by layer. And as I got into each layer, I had another ascending master or guide, spirit guide with me as well. Very high level. So now, I work with the ascending masters, which are who? Christ, Melchizedek, Metatron, and Buddha, Krishna. Yeah, that's a bunch of men, but I'm the goddess. You know what I mean? I'm the goddess. The goddess died long ago. There was still men that wore the god. Women didn't wear the goddess, unfortunately. So, there wasn't, anytime you read about ascending goddesses, the only ones was Mother Mary and Magdalene. Which, that's the truth. Those were the only ones outside of myself that ascended. And the same ones that guide me. Do you know what I mean? So, I just, as far as we go, I'm always protective of it. It's like I was walked into this very cautiously, very fearful, very carefully, and everything is very dangerous what we do over here. The spirit world is alive. And once you open it, you can't close it. And you want to make sure that when you're opening it, that the right ones are on the other side. Not that you can even tell the difference, to be honest, but that's what you want to start your understanding is. You want to start to know the good sides that are out there before you fully dive into, talking to these bad sides. And the only time when you're ready to face the dark side is because you're already facing your own dark sides. Like, are you going to meet Lucifer down there? If it's in your imagination, I suppose. If you have, and I always ask people, what's this fucking imagination of the devil? The subconscious is a real place. And there's real entities, and there's real spirits, and there's everything back there. But, in the beginning, this is your dark night. You're not, you haven't discovered your light. You're walking in the darkness, and you're attracting darkness. So be careful. And, it's kind of crazy. I'm like, let's take the journey. But then I'm like, oh my God, don't do this. Don't go there. You might get something. What'll happen to you? You're nothing. God's with you. God's with you. I'm just trying to, watch out for you. Because sometimes, we get in too deep. I've had a couple of experiences, bro, that were pretty scary. In the beginning of my awakening, I took something, a spirit, an entity, I don't know where it came from, what it was, to this day. You know what I mean? But I caught an entity up at Red Rocks, and I brought it home with me. And that fucking thing tried to rape me. I don't know for sure, but my clothes were ripped off and the door was closed. These things can get to you, dude. And that was in the beginning of my, awakening and shit. And me being, the highest level of what I was, I didn't have I didn't have stones, I didn't have shit back then. I didn't know, you know what I mean? And it's not like I know exactly where it came from. And how did it get me? And where did it, who sent it? I couldn't tell you all that. I could just tell you that I've had some experiences. Spell work, I lost fucking almost all my back teeth from that, bro. I'm so grateful to go tomorrow and get my fittings finally for my teeth to get replaced. I lost so many teeth of bindings and shit like that from people attacking my throat chakra. Spell work is fucking real as fuck. And the only way you can overcome it is to not have that, you know what I mean? They pry on your fears and your pains, bro. And if they know it, bro, they can send shit at you that'll just, you literally get stuck in your own pains and feelings. So my job is to, we can't stop all the spell work, but we can stop the pains and feelings that it's feeding off of. So that not only spell work, but sticks and stones. Anytime anybody says some bullshit, it doesn't bother us. The point is to be unbothered about the world outside of us. But the only way to do that is to deal with all the bothersome things of the world inside of us. Going back to how this started, it was about this journey. It's a spiritual journey, dude. And you're going to go into warfare in there with yourself. With your ego, with your thoughts, with your beliefs, with your imaginations, with your fears, everything. It's the explosion of life happens in there, inside of you. And, as somebody that, I really do, as a medium and stuff, I teach you how to talk with the spirits. But again, I just have a fearfulness about you guys knocking on this door and asking the spirit to give you its energy. because I don't know what it is yet. And that could be just me fearful of my own energy. God created the goddess, and especially this part, this is the goddess of war. You don't just go knocking on Ares' door and ask him for a trinket. You don't really understand what's going to be in that power. And if you can harness that power, and if you even should have. Just because we read it in a book doesn't mean that we should be doing such things. You have to have a sense of discernment. Discernment is your protection during this. Nobody tells you no. You tell yourself no. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't know. I just don't feel like that's a good thing to do. There's got to be a fear, you know what I mean, into what we're doing. You have to have a full reverence for the fact that you're dealing with the world of the gods. And you're a mere man. Keep that always in mind, you know what I mean? As much as I'm a goddess, my body has its limitations. And if I put too much in it, it can eat my body apart. It can tear my body apart. And that was a couple days ago. I've got part of me, and these are my own internal parts. Part of me is pulling me this way. Part of me is pulling me this way. Part of me is pulling this way. The last thing I need is an outside entity or, energy that I've invoked it into me to pull me another direction. When I'm already being pulled apart by my own, mind, feeling, and thoughts. Or, my mind, spirit, and body. So, last thing you want, and I'm just saying that. It's like you want to call for Jesus' invocation. You want to call for protection. You want Raphael. When my body's hurting, I'm calling Raphael to my body. Come into me. Do what God gave you the power to do to heal my body from the inside out. I'm giving him permission to come into my body. That's when it comes down to the magic, it's a lot of, I make jokes, but it's true. It's a lot of dinner for schmucks. I have mind control over you. It really is, bro. You can't really see this unless you're in you're never going to see a unicorn if you can't start imagining a unicorn. And that's what I mean is like these visualizations is actual, guided meditations into places. And especially music. That's what I teach you mostly is I can take you in through music. I can turn on music, bro, and take you into a whole nother dimension. You could do it too, but where does it take you? In your fucking feelings. Be careful of that. Hey, I love you guys. This was extraordinary. Thanks for the journey there, Russ. You and Gumby over there. He's gonna hate me. I don't mean it disrespectfully. I think it's hilarious. In the sense of, I think it's fitting. Here comes Russ and Gumby. I'm not trying to make fun of you. It's just fun. I'm not making fun of you. I'm having fun with you. Learn the difference, guy. I mean, I might make fun of you tomorrow. I make fun of your girlfriend. Don't get that fucked up. I ain't having fun with that bitch. Are you having fun? Are you entertained? Hey. Yeah, it's a journey. And I have lots of ways to describe the journey, but ultimately it's a deep, dark, dingy journey of losing yourself. I read it to you in multiple books. That's what's going to happen. Okay? Hey, laters. Bye.